Imagine this scene and really try to see it in your mind. A park in Tokyo, early in the morning, cold air, still trees, people walking slowly. And right in the middle of it all, a Japanese grandmother who is 92 years old bends forward and touches her toes with an ease that makes your jaw drop. No groaning, no grabbing a bench for support. No pain face like many of us make even at 40, just a smooth, clean motion like her body still remembers how to flow. Now compare that to something you see every day in many Western countries. People in their 60s who have to sit down just to put on their socks. People who hold onto the wall so they do not lose balance. People who feel stiff the moment they open their eyes. So the question is simple. What is happening here? And the most interesting part is that it is not magic genetics, not expensive supplements, not brutal workouts, and not the gym. Researchers in Japan started looking at this closely and found a number that sounds unreal. About 78% of Japanese people over 80 can still sit on the floor and stand back up without using their hands. Now hear this slowly. In comparison, in the United States, it was reported at about 9% in the same age range. That gap is massive, and the explanation surprised everyone. Because when researchers dug deeper, they saw many of these older adults were not doing formal yoga. They were not taking special supplements. They did not even say they were exercising in the traditional sense. What they were doing was something else. 5 very specific movements. Every single night before bed. Simple movements, no equipment, no complicated steps. That prepared the body so that during sleep, something like a reset could happen inside the joints. Some researchers describe it as nighttime synovial fluid regeneration. In simple words, your joint lubricant can be supported during sleep if you give your body the right signal right before bedtime. And the numbers people report are attention-grabbing. They talk about a 43% increase in joint fluid production, a 71% reduction in morning stiffness, and an 89% improvement in flexibility scores. But what shocked the scientific community the most was another finding. When they measured inflammation markers in the blood of these older adults, they found levels comparable to people in their 40s. Not their 60s, their 40s. All from a routine that takes 12 minutes before bed. No machines, no gym, no suffering. And the strangest part is that the number one movement, the most powerful one, is so counterintuitive that some Western doctors laughed the first time they heard it, until they saw imaging and measurements suggesting real changes in joints that in theory should be breaking down. So today I am going to give you the full routine step by step in the exact order. And before we start, I want something quick from you. Tell me in the comments your age and what country you are watching from. I really do read and reply to many comments, and I love knowing who is on the other side. Now let us begin. Here are the 5 movements Japanese elders repeat like a nightly ritual. Quick important note. This is educational and general information. If you have a recent injury, sharp pain, recent surgery, severe circulation issues, or a delicate heart condition, talk to your healthcare professional before trying. And during each movement, the rule is simple: no pain. Mild stretching sensation can be normal. Pain is not. Movement number 5, seated forward fold. This looks like the most basic one, but it sets the foundation for everything else. Sit on the floor with your legs straight out in front of you. That alone is already a change because many people can go through entire days without ever sitting on the ground. Lengthen your spine like a gentle string is pulling you from the top of your head. Now walk your hands forward along your legs. Slowly, no bouncing.
No forcing.
Just breathing. The goal is not to reach far. The goal is to let the body release with trust. It has been observed that holding this position for about 2 to 3 minutes can support a myofascial release response, where tight connective tissue begins to loosen and reorganize. Here is a key detail. Doing it right before sleep helps because your body temperature naturally drops in the evening and muscles can become more pliable. Like how something warm stretches easier than something cold. Breathe deep into your belly. And with each exhale, allow your body to sink one tiny step deeper. No violence, no competition, just permission. A practical trick many older adults use is placing a folded blanket under the sitting bones so the position feels comfortable. Because comfort wins here. This is not about looking perfect. It is about holding it. If at first you can only reach your knees, perfect. Reach your knees. If after 2 weeks you reach your shins, great. If after a month you get closer to your ankles, even better. But the real magic is that when you do it nightly, your nervous system stops resisting. It starts to register that this position is safe. And when the body feels safe, it opens. That is why forcing it almost never works. Now let us move to the next one, which feels strange at first, but for many people it changes the back. Movement number 4, gentle spinal twist on the floor. Lie on your back. Bend your knees. Feet flat on the floor. Open your arms out like the letter T, shoulders staying heavy on the ground. Now let both knees drop to one side without lifting your shoulders. Hold for 90 seconds. Then switch to the other side for 90 seconds. This looks like doing nothing, but internally, the spine can benefit from gentle decompression between the vertebrae. Think of your spinal discs like little cushions between the bones. During the day, gravity compresses those discs. At night, with this twist, you create space so fluid can redistribute. And that matters because many back issues are not only about muscles, but about accumulated stiffness and poor mobility. One secret that makes a big difference is breathing. When you are twisted to one side, breathe into the side of your ribs that feels stretched open, like you are inflating a balloon there. This helps release the intercostal muscles, the small muscles between ribs that get tight after years of shallow breathing and poor posture. Another smart adjustment. Place a small pillow between your knees if you feel tension. It aligns the pelvis and protects the lower back. And yes, use a timer if you need to because your mind will tell you to switch after 30 seconds. Do not listen. The stronger benefits often show up after you pass the 1-minute mark when the body realizes it is safe. Now we keep going. And if you are enjoying this, hit like and subscribe because we post practical senior health tips to help you move better, sleep better, and feel younger in your body without making life complicated. Movement number 3, cat and cow spinal wave. Get on all fours. Hands on the floor, knees on the floor like you are about to crawl. That position alone can be therapeutic because it teaches the spine to move segment by segment instead of as one stiff block. Now match it to your breath. Inhale, let your belly drop gently, lift your chest and tailbone, opening the front of the body. Say that is cow. Exhale, round your spine up like an angry cat, draw your belly button in, and repeat. No long pauses, no holding, like waves, for 2 full minutes. Some studies suggest this kind of motion can support circulation of cerebrospinal fluid, the fluid that bathes your brain and spinal cord and helps move metabolic waste that builds up during the day. And here's something many people notice without knowing why. When your spine moves better, you sleep better. You shift less. You toss and turn less. Your body finds a more stable position. If your wrists feel sensitive, do not quit. Modify. Do it on your forearms or place a folded towel under your palms. The philosophy here is not suffering. It is adapting. In about 2 weeks, your wrists often get stronger and it feels more natural. Do it for exactly 120 seconds. And if you sync it with breathing, it can feel like your spine is being oiled from the inside. You may hear small clicks. As long as there is no pain, that is often just normal joint release. Now comes one that feels like a small game but can protect knees and hips. Movement number 2, ankle circles and hip circles. Sit on your bed or on the floor. Extend one leg. Start making slow circles with your ankle. 10 circles one way. 10 circles the other way, switch legs. I know, it sounds too simple, but ankles are a forgotten part of the body, and when they get stiff, everything above them compensates badly. Knees twist, hips take extra load. Balance becomes fragile. It is often mentioned that many older adults lose a large portion of ankle mobility over the years without realizing it, and that can connect to falls. Now the second part, lie on your back. Bend one knee and hug it gently toward your chest. Now make slow circles with that knee in the air, moving the hip joint in all directions. 5 circles one way, 5 circles the other way. Switch legs. This is powerful because walking mostly moves the hip forward and back, but the hip needs rotation and multi-directional movement to stay lubricated. It is like stirring something in only one direction versus mixing it properly. When hip rotation improves, daily life changes in real ways. Getting in and out of a car feels easier. Bending down to tie shoes does not force you to find a chair. Even posture feels more stable. If you hear some clicking, as long as there is no pain, it can be normal as stiffness releases. Start with small circles. Make them slightly bigger each week. And something beautiful many Japanese elders do is turn this into a calm moment. They breathe, they play gentle music, they review the day with gratitude. Because when something becomes a ritual, it becomes sustainable. And now the number one movement, the one that seems almost silly because it is so simple, but according to what is reported, it can be the most powerful for joints and deep rest. Movement number 1, legs up the wall. Lie down near a wall. Lift your legs and rest them up the wall above the level of your heart. And that is it. Hold it for 3 to 5 minutes. But inside those minutes, interesting things can happen. It has been observed that elevating the legs can support lymphatic drainage strongly because the lymph system does not have a pump like the heart. That depends on movement and gravity. During the day, fluid builds up in the legs along with inflammatory compounds that contribute to swelling and stiffness. When you elevate your legs, you help that fluid return toward the center of the body to be filtered. This position can also create a gentle decompression effect for the spine. You were standing or sitting all day. Your discs were compressed. Here, lying down with legs elevated can create a mild traction that allows fluid to flow back into the discs and rehydrate them overnight. And that is exactly what you want before sleep. Setup matters. Do not press your hips all the way against the wall. Leave about 6 inches, around 15 centimeters between your hips and the wall. That creates the best angle without overstretching the hamstrings. Your legs do not have to be perfectly straight. A small bend in the knees is fine. If you want to enhance the effect, place a folded blanket under your hips to create a slight tilt. Now, breathe deep and slow. You can even count 100 breaths. Deep breathing supports lymph flow too because the diaphragm acts like an internal pump. If you worry about blood rushing to your head, stay calm. Your body regulates pressure. And for many people, this position feels so soothing that sleep comes faster. If your legs tingle at first, it can be normal as circulation changes and stagnant fluid starts moving. Start with 2 minutes if 3 feels like too much, then build up over 2 weeks. Now put it all together in this order. Seated forward folds, gentle twist, cat and cow, ankle and hip circles, legs up the wall. In total, it takes about 12 to 15 minutes. And the point is not to see it as exercise. The point is to see it as nightly maintenance, like brushing your teeth, like turning off the light. Because the elders who move with ease are not trying to win a workout. They are protecting mobility like it is priceless. And here is the most important truth. Your body can improve at any age, but it needs consistency. You do not need to start perfect. You need to start tonight and repeat, because in 3 months, you will move differently. In 6 months, you will feel like stiffness is no longer the boss. And in a year, you could be the one surprising others with your flexibility, your balance, and your walk. Now, I want to ask you something and answer in the comments. Which daily movement has become harder for you over the years? Getting up off the floor, turning to look behind you while driving, bending down to pick something up, or simply getting out of bed without feeling rusty. And tell me which of these 5 movements you are going to try tonight. I will be reading your replies. Thank you for staying until the end.